And here, I mean, you wonder if law enforcement is going to do more to try to stop this thing. If you could do a pit maneuver or something, we are probably too fast for something like that. Tim Lynn is joining us right now, who has spent years in the helicopter covering pursuits, also spent years in law enforcement as part of pursuits. Tim, this is really dangerous right now.
Yeah, this is as dangerous as it gets. I mean, this guy here is at high speeds, wrong side of the street, and no regard for the motoring public around him. This thing has been really fast up on the freeways, and now that it's down on the surface streets, that just puts it at another level of danger with him going through intersections, hitting turns, side of the street. So it's going to be a really, with the Ontario PD still chasing this here for quite a while. But
and talk about the danger and the strategy you use from a law enforcement perspective when somebody is going on the wrong side of the street, because the chances of a head-on collision could be deadly for somebody increases exponentially when that's happening.
Well, the first rule for the pursuit is not go on the wrong side of the street with them. You know, try to stay on your side as best you can. And you see here he's using it to his advantage to get around traffic. But it's, yeah, you try not to take the wrong side with it. You try to parallel on the right side because you don't want to take a head on yourself. The situation like this, normally what you'll see is the police departments go into a surveillance mode where they let the helicopter follow and let the ground units back off, hopefully trying to get that driver to calm down his driving once he doesn't see the red lights in the rearview mirror. But people like this who get real desperate and try to get away so fast and as recklessly as this guy's driving, I don't think that's going to change anything if they go into a surveillance mode.
Whoa. Okay. So we see him driving wrong way right now, live. This is video from earlier of him driving the wrong way, although he's driving the wrong way right now, live, which is the top box that you're looking at on what's happening live right now, because we are of this precarious moment and you see the law enforcement really flying next to him right there. Fast speeds on side streets here, and you look and you wonder if he's going to get boxed in, or you feel for all the folks that are driving there and that may have no idea that this person is coming. So now the driver is moving in the correct direction, but still driving at fast speeds. Marla Tejas has left our coverage for now. Christine Devine just joining our coverage ahead of the Fox 11 News at 5. And Christine, nervous moments right now.
Alex, as I've been watching this coverage, amazing to watch this very, very dangerous pursuit. And the wrong way. You've seen this time and time again throughout this pursuit. It's amazing. Nobody has been hit already.
Okay, so look at all the cars that are here. This is really bad right here.
Wow.
And you hope they're getting out of the way, but you know,
the speed.
There are some cars that may not know that this person is coming, and you hope that they're not on their phone or you know, doing something where they're not looking directly, because this is a split-second situation where we could see a collision at any moment. All these innocent drivers who have nothing to do with whatever is going on in this person's life, who are now in the middle of this person's path. So, Tim, what can law enforcement do in this situation right now? Enough to potentially do a pit maneuver, but with the speeds that this person is going in, is there much that they can do?
There's not much they can do. The only thing slowing this guy down is traffic, and the last thing you want to do is try to throw a pit maneuver in the middle of traffic, because you're going to send him into another driver. So right now, I would at this point would not stop chasing from the ground and just let the air unit take over, because this guy is just out of control. He's just on the wrong side of the streets, taking no way around these traffic that he's doing, and it's just causing many problems on the ground, and it's eventually going to end up in a very terrible crash.
So Tim, as you watch this pursuit, we've covered so many of these together. You see this driver, no regard for anybody else or him or herself. And so when you see as law enforcement somebody like this, so dangerous, what do you make of perhaps what's going on with this driver?
You know, the thing with you try to figure out what's going through a driver's head. This guy right here is just trying to get away. He's trying to stretch it out as far as he can to get away, hopefully find a place to get out and run. But the way he is driving, this is just way over the speed limits, way. There's a problem that he's not going to be able to handle if he comes up on cross traffic or somebody who just doesn't see him coming.
But Tim, to me, it's like a death wish. This guy doesn't care if he gets hit or killed.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going through his mind. His whole thing is, I'm getting away. I want to get away. And he's not thinking of the consequences of what's going to happen at those speeds on surface streets. So right now, Ontario PD should go into a tracking mode and let that helicopter handle the chase and try to limit the liability to the people on the ground, because one car driving fast is one thing, a whole bunch of cars driving fast is another. So just do what you can to try to stay on the aerial helicopter to follow them, because all you're doing is going to cause a problem to where this guy is going to either hit a police car, or a police car is going to hit a driver or hit another vehicle. And right now, this guy is hard for safety. So I would limit the exposure as much as I could just by letting that helicopter follow and let the ground units back off.
And it seems, Tim, that they are doing exactly what you. We do not see as many law enforcement vehicles, at least right on this person's tail. And sometimes the lack of presence of law enforcement vehicles will lead the driver to not drive as wildly and back off on some of the most dangerous maneuvers. We'll see if that happens in this case. We don't know much about what led to this stolen vehicle, if that was an armed carjacking, if this driver could be armed, why he or she would steal this particular vehicle, which is not, you know,
a work truck of sorts?
I mean, yeah, I mean, doesn't exactly look like if you're going to steal a car, this would be the one you would steal, but you wonder what the backstory is or the desperation that led to this person getting in this vehicle and taking it on this wild ride now in Whittier. We're on Bright Avenue and Whittier Boulevard as we approach the top of the 5 o'clock hour here on Fox 11, Christine.
You know, Whittier is such a big area. I've been wondering why this driver hasn't gone onto one of the freeways or gone into other communities. But again, noting how big the Whittier area is, a lot of big wide open streets. Dangerous there. You know, I watch this, I feel for every single innocent motorist that is encountering this driver, especially in the wrong lanes. Right there, like, what are these drivers thinking about their lives?
Trying to move out of the way, but you wonder how long this game is going to be able to last, and you just hope that it doesn't end really tragically for somebody, which this is like tempting fate to try this so many times. Drivers coming this direction. This is not one of those pursuits, Christine, that we sometimes anchor at 10:45 at night when you have empty roads. I mean, this is almost 5 o'clock at night on a Friday when there's a lot of people out, not expecting to see a stolen work truck coming at them. You see now the window looks like is down for this driver. It gives us a better sense of him. I mean, this is not a truck that has the most advanced handling capabilities either. And you wonder how much he's going to be able to ride this particular vehicle.
Yeah, this is unbelievable, though. As much performance he's getting out of this small work truck here, and as much damage as that thing has. On the right side, there's a lot of damage on the right-hand side, but right now his tires are holding up. But you have to realize he's driven this thing at a high rate of speed now for up to 25 minutes. His brakes are going to start giving out on him. The tires, their condition, start overheating. And then he's going to come up on an intersection where he's going to need all the braking he can get, and it's going to get to a point where he can't stop. So we always hoped in police work that the driver would slow down once the units got off of him. But as you can see, this guy here, he's not showing any
Tim,
any signs of slowing down.
Yeah, we're watching him again in the wrong lanes and going at those high rates of speed. Motorists coming right at around him. You know, I want to say, is this person perhaps on drugs, but the way they're driving, I don't know. What's your take on that?
Yeah, his motor skills are doing pretty well here with this weaving and bobbing. As
Okay, here we go.
These different
So
intersections.
now we see there's an open lane here without a lot of traffic. So now we do see a law enforcement vehicle trying to move in. Let's see what they might do. We had seen one close up in a while. And just as you said, Tim, the presence of that vehicle caused him to drive even more erratically. And look at this. And now we've got a real pursuit is on. And you wonder, Tim, if some of this law enforcement is saying enough is enough, this is too dangerous, we've got to stop this thing somehow.
Well, there's a point that you have to make in this pursuit, and it's as far as safety to the public is number one. You have your duty bound to protect other drivers on the streets, and to not do things in such a violent way or way that you cause problems. The suspect is another thing, but as an officer, you are duty bound to protect the other drivers. So if it gets to a point where it's just too dangerous, you have to back off and let it go. And what happens. It's up to this driver. He's going to cause this pursuit by his driving.
But is there a danger in that, though? The counter to that is, if something happens, and we've been seeing this person just get away with this for so long, that then they're criticized.
Correct. You're going to get criticized. You're going to get criticized. If you chase it and hurt somebody, you're going to get criticized. So it's a no-win situation for the police departments. And they have to weigh all of this. You have a watch commander in the station watching this pursuit and giving directions to the supervisors in the field of what they want done. And they are taking into consideration. Chasing him is not ending the problem. The only way you're going to end this problem is do a tactical ram if you have to, which is very, very unusual and usually never authorized because it is deadly force. You just have to be able to stay with him with the helicopters. You have the means to keep an eye on him. What I was getting at is if you have 4 police cars chasing him, now you have 5 vehicles at a high rate of speed on with 5 times the chance of somebody hitting somebody along the way here. So they're going to do what they can.
So here we go.
Visions of
Could we see a pit maneuver here? Are they going to try it? As
tactical ram.
It's definitely fast. They're getting right up on the driver, going through another intersection.
Still these wide open roads, Alex, at almost 5 o'clock here.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you have, again, I say Whittier's very big community, a lot of big wide open roads there, but where's all the traffic you think of during rush hour in LA? Okay,
let's see what happens here. We haven't seen them really engage this vehicle in a while. Could they try to ram it? Could they try to spin it? Or do they just try to stay on? Now look at this, 90 miles an hour. And if you were even to try to ram or spin the car at that speeds, you think about the consequences could be deadly, and not only just for the driver of that car, but if it gets spun into another driver who happens to be nearby, that's dangerous too. Now, wrong way.
And Alex, my thoughts too, the officer who has to be put in that position to make that kind of them as well, because that's a car crash if you do something like that.
Exactly, and a car crash at that speed could kill multiple people. So we've got to be careful in the way that we cover this as well as we approach the top of the hour here on Fox 11. We are also about to welcome our audience that is joining us for the simulcast on our system. Uh-oh.
Going into a wash?
Oh, my God.
Driving into a wash.
Wow.
Okay,
and
that
looks like a fence there.
And driver's going to run, door open, goes.
It is a male, and he's now taking, wow, didn't see that coming.
So he's now in a wash area underneath the freeway. You have to wonder how law enforcement can approach this now, being that they're on top of the freeway. We had a good visual on there with that white shirt and looked like jeans of some sort. Does he change clothes, take that shirt off? Does he try to blend in? Are there homeless people down there as well? And you wonder also just how disgusting that water must be right now. When you think about the rain that has been coming earlier today, that wash probably would have been going really good. It's going to be going really good on Sunday. But now there's, I'm sure,
a mix of a lot of things. We just saw a guy riding his bike
that's concerning.
on the side there. You do wonder, we do know, because we have not, as a society, dealt with our homeless population adequately. We have said it's okay to allow people to live by washes. There are usually homeless populations along washes. And that looks like there's somebody walking around there. I don't know if that was law enforcement or not. That was not somebody in the white T-shirt we saw earlier.
Right.
But it is hard for Skyfox, unless they have another...
Had a jacket with them.
Right.
You know, as we watch this here, Alex, when I saw that person ride by on the bicycle, it let us know that there are pedestrians and that there are people down there. So that's the moment you ask the question, how did this happen? Did he lose control? Hard to tell, Alex.
Yeah.
In the
It'd be a very interesting strategy to drive the vehicle into a wash and try to escape that way. I mean, that would really... Although so far, it appears that it's been a successful strategy in terms of eluding law enforcement. It does look like if we go back full screen, I don't know if Skyfox can move over, but it looked like there was a homeless encampment that we just saw near, at least some tents right near where this is all happening, which is going to make this whole thing even more complicated. So we've got a lot of different LA stories all coming together here at one time.
Well said.
We were supposed to start our broadcast by, look at the encampment there. What a mess. So we were supposed to start our broadcast by talking about the massive storm that's supposed to come over the weekend, Sunday and Monday. LA Mayor Karen Bass is giving a briefing right now at City Hall with folks that you can watch at foxla.com. That is supposed to overwhelm areas like these washes, which is why there's been an effort to try to get these homeless people out of there ahead of that big storm. Then, of course, the biggest story in Southern California is often pursuits. We're following one now, combined with our other biggest story that's the #1 issue for people here, which is homelessness. And they've all now come together in one story in this area near our freeway in the middle of rush hour traffic.
This could be a game changer with this suspect now blending in, perhaps, in these homeless encampment areas. We've got the helicopter overhead. We're going to continue to follow this. If we get a development,
they will basically sniff around and try to locate him, or even just locate anything he may have dropped, an article of clothing, for example, and that may help them find this individual.
All right, once again, this is the 105 in Downey. Out there, Ileana overhead as they look for this driver who led them on a very dangerous pursuit from the Ontario area. Police say driving a stolen truck.
Under the freeway, which is really interesting because there shouldn't be cars down here. So that's interesting that this car would be down here. I don't know if this has anything to do with it. But police are looking at it because they're wondering what this car is doing there too. So the police helicopter is going to follow this car too, and we can keep an eye on it as well. But this is going to be in the Downey area. I'm hearing that Downey police are getting dispatched to the scene now.
At best, this looks like a bike path here.
Right. Yeah, and then is not, that is not the pickup truck. That looks more like an SUV type. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely not the pickup. The pickup's actually stuck over there.
Yep.
So it's just interesting to police that this car came out of that area because they said there's no reason for that car to be there. But he's pulling up right to a sheriff's deputy and obviously in communication. So we'll see what happens here.
Okay, yeah, very interesting. We are monitoring that we are monitoring this situation. And Eliana, do we have any more units approaching this particular area, and will they be sectioning it off to anybody else? I mean, there's another vehicle that's heading out of that direction.
Yeah, so that car I think may have come there from that residential area, but what you're seeing here is basically police are descending on the area and they're setting up a perimeter the best they can to surround the area where they last spotted this individual. They obviously have the car. They know the car is stuck there in the wash, stuck on the fence, so it's not going to go anywhere. But what they're going to try to just focus on is all of the individuals who may be under the freeway. A lot of them may be unhoused people, but they'll try to find their person. They know exactly what the guy was wearing, so in all likelihood he's still wearing it, even though he may have thrown a jacket on. But this is all happening here westbound side of the 105 freeway at the Bellflower Boulevard exit.
Ileana, very quickly, access to the residential area there, I mean, is it difficult?
So this is a
Oh,
bike
look.
trail. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be coming out from under that freeway, which is what makes it so difficult to pinpoint who this guy is out of everyone that we see coming out. But you can see that the sheriff's helicopter is making orbits over the freeway. And the thought process behind that, even if the police helicopter doesn't have eyes on the individual, the guy's going to see the helicopter and he's going to think, hey, if I get out from wherever I'm hiding, they're going to see me. And that does buy police some time to bring out the police canine, to bring in additional officers, to set up that perimeter and to try to locate him.
Talk to us about the canine. How would they know exactly who they are looking for?
It's usually based off of scent. So that guy was in the car for a good while, and so his scent is going to be in that vehicle.
Our friends at Fox 11 Los Angeles, this was a pursuit for a stolen vehicle suspect. And we did see a man getting detained at one point, and then they let him go. So the search continues, and it is getting dark in Los Angeles. Maybe it's a good thing that this ended as early as it did. I mean, a lot of this chase was taking place during rush hour traffic, but as you can see, the traffic persists for hours on a Friday night around this time in Los Angeles. I'm going to keep this shot up. I'm going to mute my mic, but we'll keep this image up as long as it's coming in for the immediate moment, just in case we see any police activity. We'll keep this up.